Section 01. A single photo lands in June Dawson's DMs. It arrives without warning, a silent digital bombshell dropped into the quiet landscape of her afternoon. 6 perfect abs, a tantalizing V-shaped trail of muscle disappearing into the low-slung waistband of gray sweatpants, all under the warm, revealing glow of a bathroom mirror. It's a thirst trap of the highest, most diabolical caliber, and it's from Caspian Wells. The name itself sends a jolt through her system. Caspian Wells, the untouchable prince of Ravenwood University, the living, breathing Greek statue who sits 3 rows ahead of her in sociolinguistics, whose quiet intensity makes her heart perform a frantic, stumbling rhythm that has nothing to do with cardiac health. For 2 years, June has worshipped him from afar. Her worship is a quiet, borderline creepy affair, a secret religion of which she is the sole, devout practitioner. She's a silent stalker, collecting his discarded pens like holy relics, cataloging the subtle shifts in his campus coffee order, screenshotting his rare appearances and other people's Instagram stories with the precision of an intelligence analyst. Her phone feels like a hot coal in her hand, a dangerous artifact she should probably throw into a volcano. Her brain, usually a quiet library of anxieties, has become a frantic pinball machine of disbelief and elation, lights flashing, bells ringing. This photo sent to her, but then, just as the giddy champagne bubble rush begins to lift her, the cold, familiar wave of self-loathing washes it all away. No, this has to be a mistake. Caspian Wells wouldn't send a photo like this to June Dawson, the girl whose primary social strategy is to become one with the library's wallpaper, whose personal style screams, "I'd rather be reading about obscure historical events." He was sending it to someone else. He must have tapped the wrong name in his contacts, his thumb slipping in a moment of reckless vanity. Her own thumb hovers over the delete button, her duty as a decent human being warring with the screaming, goblin-like gremlin in her soul that wants to save the picture to a secret, heavily encrypted folder named homework. And that's when she sees it, a small detail she missed in her initial shock, a clue hiding in plain sight. A second chat account is visible in the corner of the screenshot he sent, a conversation he was clearly proud of. The profile name is just a single letter, Z, section 02Z. The letter drills into her brain, sharp and insistent. Who is Z? Her mind, honed by 2 years of obsessive analysis and fueled by a potent mix of anxiety and adoration, kicked into overdrive. It was a muscle she exercised daily, and right now it was performing at an Olympic level. Her eyes traced the sharp angles of the letter on the screen, a diagonal line connecting 2 horizontal ones. It wasn't just a Z in a quick, lazy scrawl. It could easily be mistaken for something else, a number, a 2. Her breath caught in her throat, a sharp, painful little gasp. 2. Who did she know who was intrinsically linked to the number 2? A jolt, cold and electric, shot through her, making the hairs on her arms stand up. Owen Dawson, star forward for the Ravenwood Ravens football team. Her cousin, jersey number 2. She remembered it from a family get-together, a framed photo on her aunt's mantelpiece of Owen in his full uniform, beaming with pride. It was a detail she had logged away without even realizing it. The pieces slammed together in her mind, forming a horrifying, perfect mosaic of despair. It was undeniable, a secret code hidden in plain sight, a breadcrumb trail leading directly to her handsome, popular, athletic cousin. He wasn't interested in a girl, he was interested in Owen, and this thirst trap, it was a screenshot, proof of his interest, meant to be sent to a friend to brag or seek advice, and in his haste, he'd sent it to her, the one person who could connect the dots. The humiliation was a physical blow, winding her. He not only didn't see her romantically, but in his carelessness he'd made her an unwilling witness to his morally questionable pursuit of her cousin. What's worse, she opened her chat with Caspian, her fingers moving on their own. She scrolled up. He'd met her 11 days ago. "Hey, are you in Prof. Albright's lecture? I missed today," wondering what the reading was. At the time, she'd nearly fainted. Her response had taken an hour of agonizing deliberation, multiple drafts, and a consultation with a thesaurus to sound perfectly casual and not at all like a fawning psycho. Now, she saw it for what it was, an excuse, a calculated maneuver, a way to get close to her, to get information about Owen. This wasn't a mistake, this was a campaign, and she was the bridge. Section 03. For the next 7 days, June lived in a state of hypervigilant misery. She avoided the library, which had been her sanctuary. She took winding, nonsensical routes across campus to avoid the quad, her internal radar always on high alert for a glimpse of his dark, perfectly tousled hair. Caspian, it seemed, had other plans. He was everywhere, a handsome, well-intentioned specter haunting her every move. She's grabbing a coffee, and he's suddenly standing behind her in line, his presence a warm weight in the air. June, right, small world. She's hiding in the art building's least popular gallery, pretending to admire a truly awful sculpture of a metal chicken, and he's there, coincidentally, sketching in a corner. You have a good eye for composition. Each encounter was a miniature heart attack, a chaotic internal war. Her inner gremlin wanted to preen and bask in his attention. Her rational mind wanted to scream, "Stay away from my cousin, you male siren." The breaking point came on a Tuesday afternoon. She'd found refuge in what she considered the library's safest fortress, a remote, dusty corral on the 4th floor, surrounded by forgotten theses on 18th-century agrarian economics. The air smelled of old paper and decaying binding glue. Here, she was invisible. Here, she was safe, or so she thought. "Are you avoiding me?" The voice was not a shout, but a low, smooth vibration that seemed to bypass her ears and resonate directly in her bones. A jolt, sharp and electric, shot down her spine. She squeezed her eyes shut for a microsecond, praying it was a hallucination brought on by excessive caffeine, but when she opened them, he was there. Caspian Wells, a solid, living god of a man, was standing at the entrance to her tiny alcove, effectively blocking her only path to escape. He wasn't smiling, his brow was furrowed, and his usually confident posture was replaced by a look of genuine trouble. He looked anxious for her. The thought was so absurd it almost made her laugh. "No," she squeaked, the sound thin and reedy, like a frightened mouse. Her own voice was a stranger to her. "Busy finals." The lie was pathetic, and she knew it. Finals were a full month away, a calendar of blissful, uninterrupted study time stretched before them. He leaned a hand hand against the towering metal bookshelf beside her head. The soft thump of his palm against the steel echoed the frantic beat of her own heart. The space between them, already small, shrank to nothing. He wasn't touching her, but she felt the heat radiating from his body. The clean, crisp scent of his laundry detergent mixed with the subtle, expensive spice of his aftershave filled her tiny space, overwhelming her senses. It was intoxicating. It was terrifying. It was a trap, right? Finals, he repeated, his voice skeptical. He wasn't buying it. It's just, if I did something to offend you, or if I came on too strong, I'd rather you just tell me. I can take it. Her heart, which had been hammering, now felt like it was trying to claw its way out of her chest. He thought he had offended her. The irony was a bitter pill. Oh, you've offended me. The gremlin in her brain shrieked with manic glee. You've offended my past, present, and future romantic prospects by treating me like a stepping stone to my own cousin. You've offended the very laws of attraction. You didn't. She managed to choke out the words, feeling like sandpaper in her throat. Her hands, suddenly clumsy and alien, fumbled to gather her books. A pen clattered to the floor. I really have to go. Without looking at him, she ducked under his arm, a move that was less of a graceful exit and more of a panicked scuttle. The brief brush of her shoulder against his chest was like a brand searing through her thin sweater. She didn't just walk away, she fled, leaving the fallen pen and what little remained of her dignity behind on the library floor. Section 04. From Caspian's perspective, things were not going well. He was pacing his dorm room, running a hand through his hair for the 10th time. His roommate, a perpetually chill guy named Leo, watched him from his beanbag chair. Dude, you're going to wear a hole in the floor, Leo said, not looking up from his game. Just talk to her. I tried talking to her, Caspian groaned, throwing himself onto his bed. She looks at me like I'm a three-headed swamp monster. He thought he was being clear. He thought the DMs, the accidental meetings, the compliments were a solid, if slightly clumsy, declaration of interest, but June Dawson was a ghost. One moment, he'd catch her looking at him in class with an intensity that made the air crackle. The next, she'd see him coming and practically teleport to another dimension, and the whole Owen situation was a nightmare. He'd seen them at a campus cafe last week. Owen had leaned over and wiped a speck of foam from June's cheek with his thumb. It was an innocent, brotherly gesture, Caspian was sure, but from 20 feet away, it looked like a scene from a romance movie. It had cemented his belief. They were the perfect, unbreakable campus couple. Caspian felt like a total scumbag, a homewrecker. The other guy, he hated it. It went against every moral fiber in his body. He wasn't that person, but he couldn't stop. He was drawn to June's quiet intensity, her shy, fleeting smiles, the way she seemed to hold entire secret worlds behind her eyes. It felt like a betrayal of his own moral code, but the thought of giving up was worse. He'd even stooped to sending the